Hey guys, today I'm going to try something different. In my last video, I kind of took you start to almost finish on one of my comics. Um, I tried to do the same thing with this one, to be honest, but I had a little bit of a trouble with my iPad. I mentioned before that I'm not very technologically savvy. So I was able to kind of, I think, figure out this recording thing. I thought what might be fun to show you is what I do after I more or less get a comic fleshed out. So the other little nitpicky stuff that I do before I put it on the internet and share it with you guys. So things like adding shadows, fixing lines, just the little tiny cleanup stuff to get a comic looking good, and then adding captions and whatnot. So, and again, I'm sorry to kind of bring you into the very tail end of this comic. And if you haven't seen the finished version, I urge you before you listen to this recording, go take a look. It's I think I'm just going to call this one, we'll just go with the name of the book that I'm kind of parodying here, The Mating Habits of the Common Draccus. That's the piece of lore that I am picking on in this comic. So check out the comic first, then come back and watch. So you know, the humor isn't just completely sapped out of the process. Okay, so I'll show you what I've done up until this point. As you can see here on the right hand side, I've got all these little controls. So when I start a comic, I'm just going to make all of this invisible. When I start a comic, I use a stamp and I create the frame first. So I've got my 4 basic panels here. I usually will also have another little layer where I kind of map out my storyboard. So, and I hide that pretty quickly because it's usually not what the end dialogue actually looks like. But anyway, so I hide that. And then I go and I do all of my lines in a different layer. So this is what the comic looked like, the bones of the comic, so to speak. And I can already see something in here. As I'm going through this, I'm just going to be touching stuff up. There we go. So these are the bones of my comic, and as you can see, it's not nearly as detailed as what the final version kind of looks like. I do a lot of my detail and a lot of my cleanup in the end version of the comic, or in the coloring stage. But I do sometimes, while I'm cleaning, I'll go back and I'll look at it just like this, because you can see things that you can't really see once a layer of color has been added over. And it might be stuff that only I would ever notice or care about. But those are the things that bug me after I release a comic. It's like, oh, I should have caught that. More so than even when I get called out for inconsistencies, like from the books. That's the little stupid stuff that I neglect to do in my comics that just eat at me. Like misplaced lines or mismatched colors or forgetting to fill something in. So let's see. So I'm going through and just making sure that my lines are more or less smooth, neat. You can see I've got my little secret joke to myself tucked in there. My pocket on a pocket. I've mentioned before, I like to hide little stupid jokes, mostly for myself because very few, if any, people ever call them out. So they're mostly just for me and my own little stupid kicks. And then those lines. Yeah, I decided to make that a whole separate layer because I wanted to keep the basic shape of the book while I was making those lines. You know, it takes a lot to make me blush. If you couldn't tell from my comics, I'm usually not afraid or made uncomfortable by things that are, you know, a little bit, I don't think taboo is the right word, but appropriate for all audiences. Um, that's just my sense of humor. I don't really care so much about offending. But this one, this one made me blush a little bit. Oh goodness, I just hope you guys kind of like it. Yeah, goodness. When I'm making these comics, you know, I've started thinking more recently about what my daughter will think one day when she sees all these comics, what the bar will think whenever, you know, I'm trying to get my attorney's license at the end of this law school process. I just can't help but envision having to explain myself to the various powers that be it my daughter or the bar or whoever someday. What the hell is wrong with me? And why I choose to trust some of the stupid shit that I do. But you know what? Draw what makes you happy. And this stuff makes me happy. I love the book series, of course, otherwise, you know, I wouldn't spend so much time making fun of it. Because, I mean, I'm not really making fun of it. And, well, yeah, I pick on it a little bit. But only in a satirical parody kind of way. You just don't expend that much effort on something that you hate. I really do enjoy the books quite a lot. This is kind of my way of distracting myself from the pain we all know waiting for this final book to come out. So, as long as Mr. Rothfuss keeps us anxiously waiting, I will continue to make inappropriate jokes about his two books and speculate in my own colorful way as to the answers of some of these big unanswered questions. So we have that to look forward to in the meantime. Maybe it'll help ease some of the pain of this long, long wait that I'm sure will be worth it in the end, but just feels endless at the moment. Okay, yeah, just nitpicky little fixes that I'm here. My God, man, there's something wrong with me. I really do probably need to see a shrink or someone. There's something not right in my head. I did a good bit of the concept art for this drawing during class last night during my tax class. Believe it or not, I've never sat down and tried to draw a sexy dragon before. So before I incorporated that in my comic, I made a stab at putting together some concept art. Because, I mean, I had a basic idea in my head of what I thought the Draccus looked like, which is nothing, let's be fair, it's nothing like this. Yeah, definitely nothing like this. I'm actually going to make a post for, at the very least, my patrons for now, showing what that concept art looked like and kind of my progression from lumbering cow lizard to kind of sexy fan art. Inappropriate sultry dragon over here. But anyway, I hope you all enjoy it. I've been itching to do another KKC comic. I'm actually very, very badly neglecting my studies. I made a post a few days ago, a blog post on my website, with all of these good intentions about taking a much needed break from comics for just a couple weeks to really focus on my final exams, which begin in just a couple days. And I just couldn't help myself. I wanted to get this one done and out into the world before I really buckled down, because I haven't done a good KKC comic in a couple weeks. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope the backlash from this one isn't too severe. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Just all of these unfinished lines I'm starting to notice. Like, I'll go and I'll make lines and I'll erase part of them because I'm putting something else in the frame, and then I won't notice what I've done until much later. Ah, shoot. And then I'll add color on top of my neat, pretty lines and just piss myself off. Okay. So there's growth. You can see what I mean. So you look at all of these gaps, all of these not clean lines. Let me go back to my line panel. It's one of those where I feel like it doesn't look quite so bad until I get the color added. Okay. Just gonna clean up. Ah, shoot, that's why I didn't do that. Crap. I really do think sometimes as an artist I am my own worst critic. Again, I can't help the things that bother me sometimes. I am a worrier by nature. And I really do worry over how my art is perceived by especially the people who liked my previous stuff and who, already kind of follow me. I want to make sure that I'm maintaining, at the very least, the same quality, because I feel that I owe that to everyone who enjoys my comics. You don't want a substandard product, and I don't want to give you something I'm ashamed to attach my name to. Okay. I feel okay with that. Now I want to clean up my colors. You know what? No. Mr. Kvoth's hands here. Unacceptable. Okay. Okay. If you guys are hearing weird noises in the background, I'm actually sitting and chilling in the parking deck at my university. Tonight is my very last night of classes, like actual lectures for this semester. Constitutional law. And I could bitch so hard about constitutional law. I'm ready to be done with this class. It's safe to say. I don't like that last shadow. Okay. Just the faintest shadow under the cloak, just to show that, it's not in the foreground. No, that's not the right word. What the hell am I saying? I don't speak art, guys. I was a business major in college. Um, I know very, very little about the finer points of art and design. I just fucking wing it, you know? Oops. Go back to my line layer. Yep. No, I'm just winging it. Okay. Some I think looks okay there. This can be one of the longer stages. I tend to rush through the initial coloring and drawing phase because I'm eager. I want to get my idea onto paper. I want to get it looking like, what I've got in my mind. So then this little tedious stuff where I start noticing all the things that I rushed through and all the little mistakes that I made, it can get a little bit overwhelming. I could spend almost as much time just making corrections as I do on the initial drawing bit. And again, at the end of the day, who's really going to notice? Me, that's who. Right now, I've got another idea in my head that I'm going to try to get out and into at the very least, out on paper before my exams really get underway. Another KKC idea that will be holiday themed. I posted a tweet this morning. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the World Builders, Mr. Rothfuss charitable organization, they've got their 10th annual fundraiser going on right now. So I'm trying to do just a small bit to support that effort in the small way that I can by anyone who donates, that $10 amount or greater. I'm gonna send you guys this card, and I've already got the idea fleshed out. I've just got to get it on paper. But I don't think you'll be disappointed. I think a Kavoth holiday card could could be a really cute idea. So I'll be happy to share that with you guys. For those who donate, and you really should donate anyway. It's a great cause. They're doing a lot of good things. I was excited. I kind of used the the fundraiser as an excuse to do something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I bought a signed copy of the 10th anniversary edition of Name of the Wind. I've been seeing that book and just been jonesing for it, so I jumped all over that. I saw that was one of the things that you could purchase through the World Builders Marketplace, and I owned it so quick and so hard. Oh, it's mine. I cannot wait for it to get here. Because I have, my little paperback copies of The Name of the Wind and The Wise Man's Fear, and I've never been one to dog ear books. I've always been very respectful of books. I love books. I want them to last. I'm one of those who I take a lot of pride in having physical copies of books that I keep on display in my home, on my big bookshelves. And nothing pisses me off more than, seeing books that have been mistreated, with the bindings all fucky and looking like hell. Well, that's... I don't think I've ever used a book in the way that I have used The Name of the Wind and The Wise Man's Fear, especially recently. I don't think I have read through so much of a book as many times. And to be fair, it's not that many times. Usually I read a book once and I'm done. But not with this one. The Audible gives me life. I don't know. I need to find out because I'm a big fan. The voice actor who does the Audible for Name of the Wind and Wise Man's Fear, love him. Love him so much. He's got such a fantastic voice. And having done just very, very minimal, quote unquote, voice acting myself for my job, which is environmental health and safety, and I make training videos where I do the voiceovers. Oh, I hate that. So I appreciate, at least on my small level, how difficult it can be to make something that people want to listen to. It's not easy. And I'm very picky with the books that I buy through Audible for that reason. I have returned so many books that I probably would have loved story-wise, just because I don't like the actor's voice. Not that they are necessarily bad voice actors, but the human voice is just one of those things that if you don't like the way someone's voice sounds, you're going to have a hard time really paying attention and appreciating what they had to say. Now imagine doing that with hazmat training videos, trying to keep people's attention with that bullshit. So I like to think my sultry voice helps me in that arena. No, whatever. Okay. Almost done with the little nitpicky changes to this part. What do we got going on here? What jumps out at me? Oh, I still need some shadow. I get sidetracked so easily, guys. I'll start like shadowing something, and then I see a mistake, and if I see a mistake, I can't let it go. Not until I fixed it. Ah, shit. So I'm going to give this a little bit of shadow underneath here. And you know what? Even on this table, just a little bit. Okay. I keep forgetting about these books that I've got over here. The books were a late edition. Whenever I decided how I wanted Sim over here to look in this last panel, I decided it would make sense to go in and add a couple prop books. That way the reader isn't wondering where the hell they came from. Because I imagine the scene is set in the archives. I'm not about to go through the exercise of adding all of the books from the archives to this scene. I could, but man, I don't want to. Can you imagine how long that would take? Just to have a bookshelf with a bunch of stuff in the background. I did one comic once that was set at a grocery store. I don't know that I'll ever do that again, because getting all the little shelves and bullshit at the checkout counter, Just getting that to look somewhat representative of what it's supposed to be. Man, that shit's hard. So I got really annoyed real fast with that. So, I mean, I will take time developing a scene when I think it's really important. But one, I think most readers can kind of guess where this is set. And two, is it really that important that it's the archives? I mean, this could be anywhere. So, why should I waste a bunch of time making sure the reader knows it's the archives? Okay. God, man, I really am fucking weird. I'm not proud of this one, guys. I'm really not proud. But it gives me a chuckle. And I hope it at least does that for you guys. Just these pages. Just you as a reader can kind of believe that this is an actual friggin' book. The actual pages. Just to further that point. Make it all fanny. Texture. That looks like a book. I'm almost tempted to add even just a little bit more shadow in the crevice here, but I don't want to overdo it, you know? How's that look? You know, I think I'm pleased with that. I think that could look a lot worse. Okay. So what am I missing, guys? What's left here? Are we pleased with this product? Are we saying we're okay with this? I'm not going to focus too much on the dragons, my sexy dragons over here. Because, I mean, these are meant to be kind of sketched illustrations in a book, so I don't think it's too terribly important that they be perfect. Oh, I do want to fix this, though. That looks stupid. Ah, shoot! Ah. Every once in a while I'll do something like that and give myself a minor heart attack like I did just there again. It's hard keeping all this stuff straight in my head, you know? Some undertale. Because I kind of included it on some of these others. I really might be going to hell, guys. I won't go down that rabbit hole of self-loathing. Okay. Got sexy dragons. Got all these other little... Oh, I still need some shadow. Just a little bit. Not gonna overdo it. I just wanted to get some around these books. Again, little minor details that can sometimes really mess up an illusion and really draw the reader out of the scene. Not that I know much about that, but in my opinion. Okay, what do we want to do now? How are we feeling about this? I'm thinking I feel pretty okay. All right, I'm going to add my signature. It's usually the last thing I put on any illustration. I usually throw it down here. A, D, S. Of course, I can't zoom in on any portion without seeing little mistakes I want to fix. So we're going to do that. There we go. So ADS. Got that down there. I see one more little nitpicky mistake that I'm going to fix. Shit. Well, I think I can actually do that. How do we feel about this background color, guys? I don't know that I'm in love with it. I feel like it clashes with some of this other stuff. I got a lot of browns, and I wanted to try to make it look like the archives, like make it kind of dark, maybe some low lighting. And to get that in one solid color is a challenge. Maybe if I make it orange? I wonder what that would look like. Let's find out. Oh no. Don't hate it. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, yuck. Yuck. I really hate it. What color haven't I done? I've gone through a lot of the spectrum, haven't I, guys? And the background colors for my art, I try not to do red because I don't want it to clash with Wolf's hair. I think I've done a green. Yeah, I've definitely done a green before. I don't want to do orange because that looks like shit. Just now when we tried that. I've done blue. I could just leave it alone, you know? That's what I should do. That's what smart Amanda would say. Just leave it alone, bitch. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Because I know I want to keep it dark. Could I do gray? Could I pull off gray? Let me see what this color looks like. I mean, it's dark. It's definitely dark. You know what? I think I'm just going to let it be. I think we're just going to let that be our product. Just let that be it and done. Okay. All right, guys. So next step. Get this just as big as I can so I don't lose a bunch of detail. I'm going to save this sucker. Get myself a nice workable screenshot. And there we go. Okay, so I gave it a lot of thought. I actually woke up last night after taking a pause from this and was like, no, I really hate these colors. So I am going to change this color a little bit. And recently I've used purple, I've used blue, and I've used green. So that should leave enough other colors to work with, I think, to find something, just something that doesn't look like shit. That's all I want. Just something that doesn't look fucking terrible. Okay. Because I'm just not digging the brown. The more I look at it, the more I really hate this brown. I could just go plain vanilla and find a very neutral background color.
But like, if I'm going to have a background color, I want it to be something pronounced. Something that looks intentional. I don't think we're ready for a pink one. I've done blue. Maybe I'll speed up through this part so you guys aren't seeing me just struggle over this stupid little detail that, you know, it's important to me, but I don't think anybody else is going to be that bothered by it. Maybe we'll try it. I'm sorry if I'm sniffling a little bit. I'm fighting off a cold, guys. I'll try not to make that just unbearable for us all. How do I feel about that? It's a pretty green. I think I like that. Yeah, I think we can live with that. Okay, now the trick is just making sure that I've got all the little spots where the background shows up filled in. Oh yeah, see there's a lot on this panel I have to fix. I must have made a lot of little specific tweaks here. Okay, which is fine, I can fix this. Again, I have minor perfectionist tendencies. If you saw the state of my house, you'd call bullshit on me, like, immediately, because I'm not a very organized person. My husband does a lot of that, and then we have someone who actually does our cleaning. Just because, you know, me being in law school, we decided that was something that was worth spending money on, is having someone come and do the stuff that we really just can't be affording to spend a lot of time on. Like vacuuming and dusting and bullshit like that. Okay. I like this green. I think that's a good color. It's a little bright. Wonder if it makes much of a difference going just one shade lighter. I like it a little better. Let's see if even lighter. No. No, I think I'll just leave it. I think we'll just go with this nice, whatever color, pastel-y looking green. I think it's fitting. This is a comic about lizards. So there we have it. Oh, and man, I swear I could do this for hours and hours and hours. There's going to have to be a point where I just say, you know what, fucking close enough. Because I keep noticing little bullshit that I forgot. Fuck. Okay. Like minor details like shadows and shading. Again, things nobody is probably going to care about except for me. And these are things that if someone ever actually pointed out, I'd square up. You're like, come on, man. It's about having personal standards. Yes. It's about putting out a product that you yourself can be proud of. A product that you will one day show to your children with pride and be like, look at all the time, effort, and detail I put into this drawing, the slightly pornographic drawing of dragons. And yeah. Okay, I think, alright, are we finally there? Are we finally done? I think so. I think we can wrap this one up, guys. Okay, sorry for the detour. Okay. So now, what I'm gonna do I'm going to take my photo. And I'm going to jump to a program where I add text. I have my little text bubbles, so I'll show you that. I'm sorry I couldn't show you guys this one from the beginning. I really am just completely incompetent when it comes to technology. I'm just the worst. So I'm looking for my application. It's called Fonto. Here we go. And I'm still getting used to this. I switched to this app for text because a very kind stranger on the internet pointed out that the text that I was using, initially Comic Sans, is basically just the worst text font to be using for comics. And I, in retrospect, 100% agree, and I took his very generous advice to try tweaking my text and playing around with some handwritten text options. So my last few comics have all had this custom, my handwriting text. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my little bubbles. And again, I'm still getting used to this application in particular. I don't really love the way these text bubbles look. I used to draw my own. You know, I might remove this and go to a different shape. So it's just one that makes it obvious who's talking. I have a hard time with that. You know, I want to make sure everybody knows exactly who is talking. I don't want there to be any ambiguity. I don't want anyone to wonder or get distracted by that minor detail. Okay. So let's see. I like maybe this one. It's a good cartoony. Shit. I should have turned off my notifications, but I'm participating in a few different bids for the World Builders fundraiser. And if you haven't gone on there to the World Builders Market or to the donate page yet, it just kicked off yesterday and it's running for a couple of weeks. I'm very excited. I bought some goodies for me from this fundraiser. Man, that's sorry, I'm still not pleased with this text box. I don't want it to be over his face. I just want it to be obvious who's talking. So I'm going to try something else. But anyway, World Builders. So I went on there. I got some Christmas shopping done. And if you donate increments of $10, for every $10 you get entered into drawings for cool stuff. And it's a great cause. So if you haven't gone on there, I would consider checking it out. You know, that's Patrick Rothfuss, his charity. And it seems like it's geared toward folks who enjoy, you know, the fantasy genre and nerdy stuff. So some of the stuff they got on there is really great. Okay, that looks intentional. It's a little round for my taste, but that's just a matter of personal preference. Hopefully no one will care or notice. So now let's see how it looks with my text. So I'm going to add some text. Alright, so I will probably tweak this language a lot. Writing the dialogue is to me one of the hardest parts. I start out with a basic idea of how the joke is going to go, and then I build my illustration around it. But as you know, the story takes shape and the characters and expressions develop a little bit, the whole time I'm thinking about the words that are going to be coming out of their mouth. And sometimes I have a very clear, crisp idea of the dialogue by the end of it, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm still left with just this general idea, and I end up playing around with the wording a lot. I was reading his favorite book again. Okay. I already can tell I'm going to have to tweak. Yeah. I'm going to have to tweak this text. That's the only bad thing about Fonto is I haven't figured out a way to just have what am I trying to say? To set a space that I want my text to go into and just have it fill to the bubble. I have to actually go in and play with, alright, where does this line end and this line begin? Like, Foth's reading his favorite book again. Okay, so I'm going to add another text bubble. So they're going to be kind of teasing him for being a nerd and reading his lizard book. Okay, so maybe I'll have this one be Sim. And now that I'm thinking about it, maybe look, Sim. Have him clearly talking to Sim, his partner in crime. Just have him just fucking around with their buddy Quoth, giving him shit for being a nerd. Isn't that book about lizards or something? Book about lizards or something. I'll see how this looks in here. I think I want to make... Just going to keep tweaking this text. Oh, my text bubble, I'm going to flip it so it's clearly Sim that's talking. Alright, and then have another one. So I'm going to tilt it, and then flip it, then tweak my size. Uh-oh. This one's just going to be small. Just be like, haha, fucking nerd. Maybe I'll mess with my text again. There we go. I'm sorry, guys. It's actually 5:30 in the morning here. I've been working on this comic actually over the course of a couple days. And the process for this one is not how I usually approach it, so I'm coming up on exams I might have mentioned already, but I've been having to just take little sessions as I can. Usually when I sit down to do a comic, I just plow through, or I try as much as I can to just go straight through start to finish. But I've been having a lot of trouble doing that recently. So being so disjointed and taking this long for a single idea is a little frustrating. But anyway, I said all that to say I've been stealing moments in class, actually, to get some of this done. And it's been interesting, because if you can imagine being at work at my lunch break, people passing and seeing fucking lizard titties. Just stupid shit. Oh god, it's just wow. Yeah. But that's been the thing. I've just gotten so many funny looks as I've been working on this one. So I do my best to try to keep it to myself. It's like, you know, the people who sit around me, they know I do comics, and they mostly know I'm not really paying close attention in class. I'll like be scribbling notes, and then I'll be like, ooh, joke idea, ooh, comics. That's too big. I want this to be very muted. Maybe I'll flip those ellipses. Have them be here. Have this be lower cases. Because I just want to be going, dude. No, I hate that. I really hate that. I think just adjusting first letter. Again, just the little nuances of language, text that you wouldn't think would make such a big deal, are just so important to get right for a joke to work. Hopefully this one will work. We'll see. Dude. Okay. So let's see. Look, Sam, Kvoth's reading his favorite book again. Isn't that a book about lizards or something? Haha, fucking nerd. I don't know if I like all of Sim's. I think I want some kind of preamble there. We actually don't have Quoth saying anything, do we? Which is fine. I mean, you can tell from his expression what's going on here, I think. Maybe he's saying here, give it back, asshole, or something. But this is a quick exchange. It doesn't necessarily need to say anything. Ah, shit. There we go. Just wanted to make sure that wasn't covering up my secret joke. And I think I've got the size just a little too big there. Again, just minor tweaks. This is probably the most boring video. I might not do this again. Just have these little end things that you guys probably don't care much about. Now we'll see. If the response is just like, oh my god, why is she talking about this bullshit? Because it's really, you can tell from when I started to this finished product now, it probably, if you put them side by side, the differences would be relatively minor. Definitely all of the heavy lifting is done before I made this recording. But I hope it's been, at the very least, a little bit insightful or entertaining. I'm just going to add my little watermark here. I put it in a different font. Yeah, I like that font. Okay. Oh, maybe I'll make it bolder. Uh-oh. That was not what I wanted. Okay, there we go. Maybe just a tiny bit bigger. There we go. Alright guys, I think this one's ready to put out into the world. If you guys have any requests for things you'd like me to see or talk about in these videos, please let me know. I'm more or less an open book. I don't have a whole lot of secrets. So I'd be happy to share any of my process or just anything, in general about me. If you guys want to know about law school, I'll fucking talk about law school. Want to know about just whatever, let me know. Alright guys, thanks for listening.